and I just was looking for them and didn't find them for a long time. I mean, here's something that I was telling somebody yesterday. At the school I was at, we weren't allowed music, which I think is a terrible abuse to a growing sensibility, and particularly in the 70s. I mean, think what we were missing out. But that's probably why they were doing it. They were sort of keeping us away from the Sex Pistols.
And this is a boarding school you went to?
A boarding school. And I remember when I was about 13, seeing the cover of Aladdin Sane.
Oh, the David Bowie album.
Yes.
The famous one with the lightning bolt hitting it across his face.
With the ginger hair.
Yeah.
And this pearlescent...
little drop on the collarbone, right?
Yes, the mercury collarbone. And I recognized him. He looked so familiar to me. And I bought this record with my Christmas money. And I didn't have a turntable. And I couldn't play it for 4 years. I didn't hear Aladdin Sane. I earned it. I knew that it was something.
Did you imagine what it sounded like?
Yes, I think I did. But it wasn't the point. It was the vision, not the sound, at that point. And then, you know, of course, when I knew what it sounded like, it was hook, line, and sinker. But anyway, point being, it was the art.
But initially, you wanted to be a writer, and this is something that I was particularly interested in. From a young age, you were writing poetry, and people were reading what you were doing, and then you got to Cambridge intending to be a writer, and then for some reason, around about the age of 21, you stopped writing.
Yeah.
And what happened?
It was really quite traumatic, because it was what I was. It wasn't that I wanted to be a writer. I was a writer. And to a certain extent, David, and I have the nerve to say this to you, I still am. I find it difficult to describe myself really internally as anything else. I certainly find it very difficult to describe myself as an actor. But I was a writer. I was a poet as a child, and I invested my energies in that, and for what it's worth, and it's worth a lot when you're young, I won poetry competitions, and that's why I wanted to go to university, and I got my place, I'm embarrassed to say, at Cambridge as a writer. I got an exhibition as a writer.
What was your poetry about?
What was it about? It was about nature mainly, I think. There was one I was looking for the other day. Where is it? One particular one, which was about a swan that I found in a river at home. That one, quite, again, it's embarrassing to say. I mean, I was, 15, a kind of poetry prize, and I was very proud of that. And it was more than my identity, it was my solace. I was quite a solitary child, and my writing was my company. It's important that I stress that, because when I stopped writing, and you ask why, I mean, we could have a whole masterclass on that.
Wait, but why did it happen?
I could blame somebody. I could blame the program for just inundating me with too much. I'm not going to blame somebody. That's silly. I clearly didn't have the confidence to hold my flame in that headwind of other voices. And so when I got to Cambridge, there was a lot of teaching, and there was a barrage of amazing noise, but I was like a tortoise. I just put my head in. And so I was bereft. I was truly bereft at that time, because I'd lost my company. And then I met friends, a couple of writers particularly, who were writing plays. And they said, come and, be a part of this society. And I started being in the plays to hang out with them. So I was very much a performer by default, and very much led by the company. And frankly, that's all she wrote. That's the way I work.
I think when Blue Next Door was shown at the New York Film Festival, I think it was just last month maybe, there was a post-screening talk, and it was interrupted by pro-Palestinian protesters.